Is there anybody else who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Paramdev ki Dasi from Gurgaon. Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Paramdev ki Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all goes to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much Mataji for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Radha Damodar Das and Ratmamaya from Austin, Texas. Please accept our humble obeisances. All goes to Guru Maharaj, all goes to Srila Prabhupada, all goes to all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all goes to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much Prabhuji for joining. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody else who would like to introduce?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Dandavat Pranam, this is Sundari Gopi from Pittsburgh.
Hare Krishna Sundari Gopi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all goes to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much Mataji. Hare Krishna.
I think Prabhuji has not joined yet. Did you see him?
Prabhuji is there, Mataji, in the call.
Oh, okay.
Hare Krishna, I'm in.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Ramgiridhari Prabhuji on the call on the topic Srimad Bhagavatam 4.27.10. Thank you very much Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all goes to Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for giving your very valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening us on this topic. I now hand over the call to you Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavats to everyone. I may not be able to turn on my video. I'm logging in from my data. So kindly excuse me that I may not be able to turn on my video. And also I'm right now in Srirangam on the banks of Kaveri River, overseeing Kaveri, taking darshan of Ranganatha Swami's tower. So it's very an auspicious location. So I'm happy to connect with you all at this moment. So let's start our prayers and sloka, and then we'll go over the verse. This is from Canto 4, Chapter 27, text number 10. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Teshu tadriktahareshu grihakoshanujivishu nirudena mamatvena vishayeshvanubhadyatam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: These sons and grandsons were virtually plunderers of King Puranjana's riches, including his home, treasury, servants, secretaries, and all other paraphernalia. Puranjana's attachment for these things was very deep-rooted. Purport: In this verse, the word Riktahareshu means plunderers of wealth is very significant. One's sons, grandsons, and other descendants are ultimately plunderers of one's accumulated wealth. There are many celebrated businessmen and industrialists who produce great wealth and are highly praised by the public. But all their money is ultimately plundered by their sons and grandsons. In India, we have actually seen one industrialist who, like King Puranjana, was very much sexually inclined and had a half dozen wives. Each of these wives had a separate establishment that necessitated the expenditure of several thousands of rupees. When I was engaged in talking with him, I saw that he was very busy trying to secure money so that all his sons and daughters would get at least 500,000 rupees each. Thus, such industrialists, businessmen, or karmis are called mudas in the Shastras. They work very hard, accumulate money, and are satisfied to see that this money is plundered by their sons and grandsons. Such people do not want to return their wealth to its actual owner. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasham Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. The real proprietor of all wealth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the actual enjoyer. So-called earners of money are those who simply know tricks by which they can take away God's money under the guise of business and industry. After accumulating this money, they enjoy seeing it plundered by their sons and grandsons. This is the materialistic way of life. In materialistic life, one is encaged within the body and deluded by false egoism. Thus, one thinks, I am this body, I am a human being, I am an American, I am an Indian. This bodily conception is due to false ego. Being deluded by false ego, one identifies himself with a certain family, nation, or community. In this way, one's attachment for the material world grows deeper and deeper. Thus, it becomes very difficult for the living entity to extricate himself from his entanglement. Such people are graphically described in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 16.13 through 15 in this way. Idam madhya maya labdam imam prapse manoratam idam ashita idam astidham apime bhavishyati punardhanam ashav maya hatav tatrur hanishya chapranapi ishwaroham aham bogi siddhoham balavan sukhi adyo abhijanavan asmi konyoti sadrisho maya yakshe dasyami modishya ittagnya vimohitaha. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy and I have killed him, and my other enemy will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. In this way, people engage in various laborious activities, and their attachment for body, home, family, nation, and community becomes more and more deep-rooted. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Teshu tadrikta hareshu griha koshanu jivishu nirudena mamatvena Vishayesh Anubadya Vishayesh Anubadyatam. These sons and grandsons were virtually plunderers of King Puranjana's riches, including his home, treasury, servants, secretaries, and all other paraphernalia. Puranjana's attachment for these things was very deep rooted. Hare Krishna. So, first of all, please accept my humble obeisances. It's a special day today, as we all know, our dearmost Bhaktichar Swami Maharaj entered his eternal residing place in this manifested world in his samadhi. His Vapu had been buried under the holy land of Mayapur in front of Srila Prabhupada's samadhi. And Srimad Bhagavatam always helps us in getting to a reality check. Every page of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially when we read them with utmost vigilance, we can always correlate the content, the message of Srimad Bhagavatam for our own personal lives. The current context that we are in is when Narada Muni is trying to educate Prachini Barhishat. After Lord Shiva gave knowledge to the sons of Prachini Barhishat, and when they all went for performing tapasya, Narada Muni saw Prachini Barhishat alone enjoying sense gratification and trying to waste his life into useless things. So Narada Muni went and inquired, why are you doing this? And interestingly and thankfully, Prachini Barhishat accepted his state of mind. Unlike few of us who may deny that everything is okay with us and we are better off, as Srila Prabhupada referred to the verse from Bhagavad Gita, we all say that everything is okay with us, our surroundings are okay, there is no problem. So we are always trying to shy away in getting to a reality check. So, but interestingly, when Narada Muni asked Prachini Barhishat, he accepted and even asked for help. So that I'm sorry that I didn't know anything apart from sense gratificatory life. So please help me somehow or other to get rid of this situation. So this whole series of King Puranjana's story is something that Narada Muni is stating. And this is a very interesting allegory which actually correlates to each and every one of our conditioned life. So this science of Krishna consciousness is such that we need to associate with Srimad Bhagavatam and get to a reality check that where am I, what am I up to? Many times when things are going smooth, when everything is happening okay in our lives, when there are no problems, we are always in a state of forgetfulness. As soon as when challenges come, as soon as when some difficulties arises, we start to realize that probably something is wrong. So when Prachini Parishit was asked by Narada Muni, at least Prachini Parishit, like Mrigari, took the words of Narada Muni seriously, and he gave his ears to the advices of Narada Muni, unlike people in degraded consciousness who try to shy away, stating that this is not the right time, right age, right moment. At this point in time in my life, this is not my priority. So I will do things which are sensually pleasurable to me. So this current context is not unusual for us. Each and every one of us would have got to have seen in our own family, friends, neighbors, or the society such a degradation. And hence, let's reflect and churn this particular shloka and learn some lessons for our own spiritual advancement. Here, Narada Muni is explaining that what Prachini Parishit thought that I am actually enjoying, I am actually amassing wealth so that I can enjoy and my generation, future generation can enjoy. But interestingly, he had magnanimity, and in the 2 words earlier we saw, even the children of Prachini Parishit had some magnanimity, but the grandsons and the extended family, they are only interested in what is that in store for them. Typically, in any wealthy family, when someone is dying, when someone is leaving his body, out of all the other anxiety, one natural anxiety that comes up in people's mind is about the financial settlement. In fact, now this has become a trend that financial settlement conversations are very openly, frankly, freely conversed without any shy, without any shame. But the Vedic civilization, the spiritual lifestyle and cultured lifestyle have taught us something completely different. In a cultured family, the elderly member of the family's decision is adhered and nobody cross questions or fights with that. The reason had always been that they all acted based on the moral and ethical codes defined, and they were highly impartial. So we are going to have some interesting sets of reflections which could be some relationship lessons for us, and which are also some reality checks in our own lives. And it is very, very interesting, this current context for me personally, because of the situation that I'm put in the current period in my life. My father is actually going through a very intense health crisis. I just came back from US on 20th of June. After 7-8 days of home quarantine, I had to come down south to attend to his health condition. Somehow, by Krishna's mercy, he got discharged from the hospital 2 days earlier, and he is now taken care at home. But then the scenario is pretty gloomy within the family, where everybody is seeing that probably he would, not live for long, or maybe he may have his own time come now. So multiple thoughts have already, started doing rounds. Of course, personally, I was of the opinion right from the beginning that we cannot ascertain, predict what comes our way. But what happened is, in the last 1 week of my stay, got to learn so many wonderful lessons which are important, relevant, and relatable by by every standard. At the same time, it's something that I wanted to actually share, so I started to make my own notes to eventually compile it as some interesting lessons. So I'm going to share based on my reflections in my own personal lives, as well as whatever I've heard from Vaishnava Acharyas. So through some sets of 3 reflections. The first set of reflection is about how the priorities in life are organized. In the sense that when we are a grihastha, or a person who is not dedicating our life into a preaching mission, if at all we are part of a family life or a social system, then we have finances, family, friends, health, wealth, surroundings, education, job, colleagues, neighbor, nation, so many things that that comes into existence. For a brahmachari or a sannyasi or a vanaprastha, they are not expected to be bothered about any of these things, and their focus should as well be always to glorify Krishna and utilize all the resources in Krishna's service. Whilst grihasthas are also supposed to be doing that, but there are other obligations that comes their way, because of which there are some distractions. So my first reflection is about the different components in a person's life and what priority in what sequencing they all matter in one's life. For example, for a person to lead a noble, genuine life and a good social life, especially as devotees, there are certain things like principles, processes, people, purpose, and finally, the ultimate goal of life. They are all definitely, matter a lot. The challenge that we all face is we do not know which one to put first, which one to put next, and which one to be, giving what type of importance. So my learnings are this way, that if each and every one of us, which is what Narada Muni is teaching and going to further explain, if we do not lead our life based on principles, because many times, as Prabhupada explains in this purport, we center our life, we base our life based on people. Me, I, me, mine, and my people. But when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, when we hear these wonderful narrations, we always understand that whilst people are very important, but people in our lives are not superseding principles. Because if our principles are compromised, then people are supposed to be dealt accordingly only. So the first and foremost thing that each and every one practicing devotee should give importance is principles. And principles means what Srimad Bhagavatam has directed us. How much ever we are related as family members, how much ever we are related to each other near and dear and very close, thick and thin, and we are, like childhood buddies. Individually, we are answerable to the Supreme Lord. We cannot go and tell him, because my friend wanted this, my father wanted this, my mother wanted this, my wife, children wanted this. That's why I chose this decision. Your, reasoning will only be sympathized, and nobody will give any weightage to that. Especially in the kingdom of the Lord, when you are going to be questioned, we are all individual spirit souls, and we have to take responsibility for our actions. This has been very elaborately discussed by Srila Prabhupada during Chitraketu's pastime, wherein he mentions that every lifetime or every relationship in this life is limited only till this body exists. As soon as the soul leaves the body, even though the remaining family members, they may have some affinity and remember about their, um, dead ones, but still, after the soul leave the body, the soul does not hold any more relationship with the people whom they were related to, because according to one's karma, they may take different body, different place, different planet, different position. Hence, we are supposed to be responsible for our lives. We are supposed to be answerable for our lives. We are supposed to be accountable for our lives. Hence, we are supposed to be principled in our own lives. Even though husband have got some responsibility towards wife and children, son has got some responsibility towards parents and dependents. All those things are good in terms of our conditional responsibility. And so long as we are in this body, we can extend our support, and we need to do certain kartavya. But that's all fine. But with respect to our devotional growth, we are individually responsible. Srila Prabhupada explains very, very nicely in various books, but the recent ones that I read was the book by name Krishna Consciousness, the Topmost Yoga System, where Srila Prabhupada explains that the Lord reciprocates yeyatam mam prapadyante tams tataiva bhajamyaham. So my point I was trying to say is, principle supersedes every other priorities in life. So in terms of sequencing of the things that I listed in our lives, we need to learn principle, understand principle, apply principle, and preach principle. So principles are the ones which should guide us in our life, not anything else that we are going to explain. So principle should be followed by the process to follow the principle. Sometimes we know the principle, but we do not know the process to follow them. So then we will have a challenge. So hence, Srila Prabhupada says, understand the principle and learn the process so that this principle can be applied in one's life. Brahma Jignasa, understanding that I am not this body, spirit, soul, is very important. But Srila Prabhupada writes, action on Brahma Jignasa is all the more important than knowing the science of spirit, soul. So hence, principle follows. Process follows principle. So a person who know the principle, apply the process of adhering to the principle, makes it, all the other ones will remain a bookish and some sort of an hypocrite. So hence, in our personal lives, Narada Muni is actually teaching and is going to further teach through this story of King Puranjana, that how he had been wasting his time, money, efforts, age, so many things that came his way, and how he recklessly conducted himself. So Narada Muni is going to explain hence that we need to learn to live by principles of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is meant to deliver the humanity at large. So principle, process, then comes people, because people without principle and process, So in our lives, our friends or all the other associations are important, provided they have some alignment with principles and processes. If principles and processes are not followed, then we need to handle things accordingly. The ideal typical example is Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj definitely respected his father and gave all respects to him, but he never obeyed or never followed his father's advice. So typically what I was trying to say is that as Prahlad Maharaj, we also need to definitely not disrespect any relationship in our lives. In fact, I'm saying one step forward, we should also do all of our duties towards our, conditional relationships. But what goes in more important is about how much are we standing by our principles and ready to face the necessary challenge that your conditional relationship may pose upon ourselves. So may it be that we may not get the apportioned quota of wealth. Very famous story in our ISKCON is our His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj. Giriraj Maharaj's parents, they came to Srila Prabhupada and they somehow tried to get Giriraj Maharaj back. They offered money. They gave threats. They had so many ways to allure, threat, whatever they had to do. Raghunath Das Goswami's parents did the same thing. So many stories are there where people are trying to use what we call as Sam, Dan, Bed, Danda. They all try every ways and means by which they can try to win over. Because for them, the agenda is about bodily relationships and nothing beyond that. But Srila Prabhupada responded when such requests came from certain parents. Srila Prabhupada responded saying that I am not forcing upon anything to my students. It is their own personal choice. They have learned to discriminate, differentiate, which is real welfare, which is real support, which is real need, which is real, love. And they are making their own choices. I am not forcing upon them. If you want, you can take them home. That's when, all the parents either get infuriated or sometimes they get superlatively convinced. Yes, this Siddhanta is very, clear. So my first principle hence is in our first reflection hence is in our own personal lives, knowing from, various examples, we need to learn to lead our life based on principles, and principles should follow processes, and the people whom we associate, whom we give importance, whom we learn, whom we are supposed to have heart-to-heart relationship should have principle and processes in place. Otherwise, we need to handle them accordingly. And last but not least is the people with whom we associate. We need to make sure that there is purity and purpose in place. If the purity and purpose or purity of purpose is not there in place, even though we may have principle and processes, but if there is some adulteration in terms of purity and purpose, and finally the destination, we may have somewhere fizzle out in this journey. So Srila Prabhupada explains that in the modern family situation, neither there is principle nor there is process, and all the people, they love each other only to the point in time when we are rich enough, when we are intelligent enough, when we are famous enough. The moment we are losing our whatever quotients, then they naturally try to withdraw themselves from us, or they try to ignore or try to show ourselves some different face to us. So our spiritual journey hence is very important to the extent that if we base it on principles of Krishna consciousness, processes of Krishna consciousness, people in Krishna consciousness, with the purity and purpose, and the final destination being reaching the spiritual abode, then our spiritual life as well as our life in this material world will be meaningful. In fact, a person who is a devotee, who is operating on this five things in the same sequence, is even appreciated by the so-called materialistic men. Even people of poor fund of knowledge are able to appreciate such a devotee because they can see a gentle manliness in such a devotee. So hence my first reflection is, each and every one of us in our lives, we need to make sure that we are basing our lives based on principles, then processes, then based on principle and processes, people, and based on that we should have people with purity and purpose. The relationship between each other should be based on purity, and the purpose for that is to go back home, back to Godhead. The second reflection is that it's again a pandemic lesson that I'm sure many families would have heard, or many sessions, many speakers would have said this, that the reality check is all that we have acquired, all that we have amassed, they are all going to not help us when we are in crisis. What is going to help us is the amount of devotional understanding that one have is the only one that will save us, not the amount of money or anything else that we have amassed. Recently, there was a person in Poland. He was a president of a very big bank. So this guy, he had he got infected with COVID positive, and he had to be admitted, and unfortunately he died. So this guy's daughter, she wrote a very interesting poem, or some sort of her feelings towards her dad. She said that in our family there is no shortfall for money. We have enormous amount of financial resources, but my father died of lack of air to breathe, which is available for free. So she was trying to make an appeal. My dear friends, there is much more in life than money can give something to us in life. As we have heard, that a person is called very poor, very poor, that all he has amassed in his life is only money and nothing else. A person is considered as so poor that he has got only money with him and nothing else. So my second reflection is, in our journey in Krishna consciousness, somewhere or other, especially when we are all 35 plus in age, we need to start to work towards actually reducing our needs in amassing things in life. Just don't go on acquiring, when you have to give them up. It is very painful. We are seeing that. I'm personally seeing that if you have to give away, if you want to relinquish them, we feel very painful, because when we amass things, we identify those things with us. It's mine. So when a time comes when you can't enjoy those things, when your mind desires to enjoy, when your intelligence desires to enjoy, but your body does not help, when when your senses does not cooperate, when your age and surroundings does not cooperate, when your family members are interested in you know uh, doing the partition, that I will get this, she will get that, he will get this, and everybody in front of your own eyes trying to fight for your own riches, at that time you will feel so much pain, that I wasted all my life. Because all through our life we are only doing one thing, which is procrastinating. At the age of 5, we say we are too young. At the age of 15, we say this is the right age for having fun. At the age of 25, 35, we say that we have responsibility to earn money. At the age of 45, we think that I have to just settle things and then I am free to do whatever I want. And when I am 55, I'm already feeling fatigued. And at 65, we are looking for some old age homes because our near and dear ones are looking only at our bank balances. So it is extremely important that we try to inculcate this sense of renunciation at some point in time or the other. And in fact, it is said that the sense of renunciation is to be inculcated right from age 5. Not that at 5 you have to start renouncing, but at 5 we should start teaching what is life and where things come from and where things would go. But if I can extrapolate and bring it till 35, at 35 to 40, each and every one of us should start thinking that somehow or other we need to start reducing our bodily needs and start increasing our soul needs, which means hear more, chant more, speak more, serve more, glorify more, pray more, and eat less, talk less, sleep less. So whatever that we have been thinking about sense gratification, start slowly reducing them, and so that we will be able to more and more utilize at least the healthy part of our life for Krishna's service. As many times in Indian family system, they always say, this is for my post-retirement activities. This is for my post-retirement activities. So people keep accumulating things to do after they retire from their job. But now the trend in the society is going in such a direction that nobody believes in the concept of retirement, because they think that after retiring, I will feel bored. I do not want to retire. I will work till 70, 80, 85, 90. I'll still go on till the last day of my life. I will work. Why? For whom? Because they do not know how to engage themselves in Krishna consciousness. So my second reflection hence is twofolded. One is start inculcating the sense of renunciation from the age 5, but at least make sure from 35 we stop accumulating things unnecessarily. We have, a habit of accumulating things more than necessary. We have backups to backups, backup to backup to backup, and sometimes we do not know how many backups we have for certain things, that at some point in time we ourselves forget, and when we try to find them out, we feel that I have never used them, I just only hid them, fearing our family going to amass it, my friends are going to take it away, people are going to be, envious of me. So I kept on hiding, kept on hiding, kept on hiding. I never used myself and never gave it for others' benefit also. And that way, all our resources are getting wasted. So my strongest realization is that at some point in time, let's start opening it up and dovetail our lives for the principles rather than dovetailing our lives for amassing. So start inculcating some sense of renunciation in our own lives. And the sense of renunciation includes not just, recklessly giving away things. It means to hand it over to the right next. Like when Parikshit Maharaj realized that he is going to die in 7 days, he carefully thought through and asked for all the sages who were in his assembly. He called them and said that, my dear sirs, please give me your direction of how do you think I should conduct my next 7 8 days. And that's when Sukadeva Goswami entered that arena, and everybody immediately nominated Sukadeva Goswami and said that whatever Sukadeva Goswami says, you do this. And Sukadeva Goswami said, let's talk Srimad Bhagavatam. So Parikshit Maharaj, without thinking for a second, he called Janame Jaya and handed over the entire kingdom to his son and immediately sat for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So in our own lives, we should also try to increase more and more. If you plot a graph at least at 35, we should, 35 is just an arbitrary number based on whatever I've gone through in my life's experience. Every 10 years our thought process changes. Every 7 to 10 years our thought process changes. So don't try to have a plan for working forever for the materialistic boss. We have a spiritual boss ready to work, ready to reward, ready to engage us in eternal service. Let's try to reciprocate to him rather than working for our materialistic boss. So slowly we should plan our lives. If at all somebody is in 20s, plan your lives in such a way that by 35, 40, we know what we want for our peaceful spiritual life, and try to dedicate more and more time, energy, money, resources, everything for the missionary work, and also uh, start reducing and accumulating things, because when we keep accumulating things, we will never be able to be detached, and at the time of death we will only be thinking about those things rather than the philosophy and the love towards the Supreme Lord. The third principle and the last principle that I wanted to talk about in this current context hence is the spirit of being a soldier in this Sankirtan movement. Narada Muni explains that how our friends and families and extended family member, they are very much interested in our things rather than us. So, but on the contrary, devotees are interested in us rather than our things. Srila Prabhupada, when he encouraged all the boys and girls to be part of the Sankirtan movement, Srila Prabhupada was very welcoming, very happily welcoming each and every one. Said that don't worry, Krishna is very rich. We are not interested in your money. You please come and join the Sankirtan movement. We have enough resources to engage everyone and keep them happy forever without any shortfall. And Srila Prabhupada taught the principle that Krishna is our seed giving father, and Krishna knows what to give, how much to give, when to give. Hence, Srila Prabhupada was encouraging each and every one of us to take advantage of this Krishna consciousness movement. So, hence, my third principle is we all need to be prepared to be a soldier in the Sankirtan movement. But then, what does a soldier in the Sankirtan movement mean? A soldier means whatever we just discussed so far. A soldier means a person who is principle driven. A soldier means who is ready to follow a process. A soldier means who is ready to work with people of similar like-mindedness. A soldier means a person who is ready to renounce his personal desire for a larger cause. A soldier means who is ready to sacrifice things for higher dimensional science. And hence, the third principle that I wanted to talk about, the third reflection is let's prepare ourselves to be a soldier in the Sankirtan movement. But there is one more dimension to the soldier, which is what I want to bring in here is be a healthy soldier, not just a soldier for name's sake. When we all said to Srila Prabhupada, when we all said to our spiritual master, Gurudev, I am yours, I wish to be part of the Sankirtan movement, we have already enrolled ourselves to be a soldier. But then a sick soldier is a nuisance, is a disturbance to the entire army. Because a person who is sick, he not only disturbs himself, but he also consumes the resources of the army who otherwise have to be focusing in fighting against the enemies. So similarly, when we are trying to become soldiers in the Sankirtan movement, we need to learn to be healthy. What is this health all about? This health is all about physical health, mental health, intellectual health, and principles or health towards soul-based lifestyle. So we need to remain healthy. So from that perspective, our physical health is equally important. Our mental health is very important. Our intelligence being illuminated with knowledge is definitely important. And with that health, our being a soldier is useful. A soldier who is healthy is definitely an asset for the country. But a soldier who is mentally retarded, a soldier who is physically unfit, a soldier who has completely wrong uh, uh, motivation, all of them are disturbance to an army. Hence, we need to be a healthy soldier. Is it enough to be just a healthy soldier? No. I need to be a healthy soldier, prepared to go out and join in making others healthy. So the point here is, as Narada Muni is going out, traveling to all parts of the world to go and pick out one person and give them Krishna consciousness. Similarly, we all need to make sure that our healthy lifestyle is not for our showing off. Our healthy lifestyle is to extend ourselves for this Sankirtan mission. So our time, our energy, our resources, everything need to be dovetailed for the Sankirtan mission. So if I am claiming myself to be a soldier, if I'm claiming myself to be a healthy soldier, then I need to make sure I am prepared to go out to help others by helping myself. So this helping others in this current context is in all dimension, helping them physically, mentally, intellectually, spiritually, and in whatever capacity, so that that particular spirit soul can come closer to Krishna. As Srila Prabhupada explains in this purport, in materialistic life, one is encaged within the body and deluded by false egoism. And Prabhupada gives this 3 shlokas from 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where one misidentifies himself as the beneficiary, center of focus. So such a propensity is going to be detrimental. And with such a propensity, somebody is trying to assume the role of a soldier, then he is no different from a Kali Chela, a disciple or a student of Kali Purusha. Because the way Kali works upon oneself is to allure someone to be part of such a sense gratificatory agenda. As Prabhupada explains, Kali just allures us to make sure that every resource is for you, my dear. Enjoy, 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 and take us away from Krishna. So hence, we need to make sure that we remain healthy and we go out and request everyone else, please stay healthy. As government right now is doing all the promotions to let people know about the COVID situation, and requesting them, please stay indoors, please try to maintain whatever distancing, please try. They are giving so many norms. This is purely from a very political standpoint, but if you really understand the science behind such a messages, they want to make sure that they help themselves by helping others. So hence the third principles in the third reflection is about how do I extend myself. And last but not least, whilst I'm extending myself, I am also being prepared to be wounded. So when a soldier is healthy, when a soldier is extending himself, he is also aware in the process there may be some scenario where I may get harmed, where I may get not the best of the experiences, where I may have challenges. Srila Prabhupada is written in one place in Bhagavad Gita or in some conversations, I don't remember exactly. Srila Prabhupada explained that right from the time I left Vrindavan and traveled overseas, my health had always been very bad. At every point in time, I used to always fear that I will leave this body. But I still kept on pushing forward this movement. I didn't want to give up the mission that I have taken it up, even though my body was not cooperating, even though my health was not cooperating. I kept on participating in the missionary activities so that the generations to come can get delivered. So that is the spirit of a self-realized soul. Day before yesterday, in one of the sessions with the Tennessee congregation, His Holiness Anumat Prashek Maharaj mentioned a very nice point. He mentioned how even Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is making such a statement that I may not be physically fit. I have lot of physical ailments, but still my glorification towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the entire Panchatattva will go on eternally, because that is my life and soul. So my last reflection, the last part of last reflection is that it is important that whilst I'm healthy, whilst I'm ready to help others, I'm prepared. I know that in this process, there may be some challenges, because I'm going to win more and more souls to Srila Prabhupada, and it is not an easy agenda. In the process of winning some souls, I may face some consequences, I may face some challenges, I may face some difficulties. I am prepared for that. Just because of fear of damage, fear of challenges, I will not shy away from my responsibilities. So this current context of Prachini Barishat's discussion with Narada Muni is very instructive enough for each and every one of us, because if we do not take advantage of Narada Muni's warning, then we will continue to remain demoniac. As Prabhupada explains, that people are very much busy in engaging themselves in the laborious activities, in being attached to their body, home, family, nation, community, and they get more and more deep rooted that a point in time they totally forget their own constitutional position. The very famous story of Indra got to become a pig. After the punishment period got over, when Brahma came and offered him that, come back, your punishment period is over, Indra did not think that he has to go back, because he personally felt that everything is going fine with him. He says, I'm happy with my family, children, food, everything is great, glorious. Why do you want me to come back? Why are you disturbing my ecosystem? And when we as a neutral listeners, we think that what a stupid guy Indra is. He should go back, because he's supposed to be belonging to Indra Loka, and supposed to have a better lifestyle. But him choosing to become continue to remain like a pig, hog, is very, very concerning. But that concern is applicable to each and every one of us also, because we are also somebody who is constantly denying to the Supreme Lord, denying to the messages of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Bhagavad Gita, and tell that I'm happy, everything is going okay. So why are you disturbing me? Why are you asking me to do something else by which I have to do some austerities? So my last part of last reflection is to say that in our journey to Krishna consciousness, we need to go out there, preach the glories of the Supreme Lord, win more and more souls. In that process, we may have some challenges. We be prepared to take up the challenges. So Narada Muni has done that time and again. He has not hesitated in helping people. He has not hesitated in he has not hesitated in trying to go out of the way in helping people practice Krishna consciousness. So my 2 cents are that it is something that we all need to learn, walk that path, walk in the same footsteps of our self-realized souls, walk in the same footsteps of our great glorious devotees, and try to win more and more souls by winning ourselves to this parampara. And that has to be shown reflecting in our own choices that we make. If we do not make right amount of choices, then we will face disappointments. Choice made at the wrong time, right choice made at the wrong time, also has got the wrong effect. So right choice should be made at the right time, otherwise the choice will lose its own glory. So I was just talking the other day to some group of devotees, and we were discussing about the snake and the ladder game. In our own lives, we also have the snake and ladder game. In our journey to Krishna consciousness, we get many, many ladders as we move through. Just not ladders, we get some elevators which can actually lift us from that current position to a very, higher position. But we need to be also careful about different snakes that come our way and bite us. And of course, in snake and ladder, it is about the dice that we roll, and it is based on some probability. But in Krishna consciousness, it is not based on probability. It is based on our personal choice. We make the choice. We take the decision. We take hard decisions. Sometimes what the society may laugh at us. Oh my God, this guy has taken some really drastic steps. But if we are able to be principle centric, then we will know that what we are doing is not wrong. We are absolutely correct. Because many times people mock, people try to accuse some devotees' decision, saying that, why is he behaving in such a funny manner? But only those who know the principles know that principally what he is doing is very correct. And hence, let's all try to organize ourselves in a manner by which we will be principle driven. Otherwise, we have to, we have to experience the pain of our own sense gratification. Like how King Puranjana story, where whatever wealth he has amassed, just in magnanimity for his own extended family, his family did not think about any welfare of anybody else. They were only thinking about sense gratification of the individuals, and they were only focusing about amassing or looting the resources, and that gives significant amount of pain. So in our own personal lives also we may face such scenarios. Hence, let us be prepared. So in some very close Vaishnava circles, we also talk about expressing our will. Srila Prabhupada wrote his will. So we are also supposed to start expressing, writing, registering what we intend to do in our lives. What do we intend to do with our financial resources that we have? What we intend to do with the rest of the time? What are our choices? What is our priorities? Because we do not know when we will become mute, when we will become deaf, dumb, what health crisis may come, and who will be put in what sort of difficult situation. So better we try to take advantage of the things that are very well present in our lives, rather than waiting for some future better moments. I would like to conclude by stating a very interesting song that I have always heard growing since my childhood days. It's not necessarily a Vaishnava Acharya song, but it's kind of a song that it's a kind of a folk song, but at the same time a very meaningful one, where it is saying that Nam bina kichu nahi ko naro chauda bhuvana maje. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, how in this all the 14 planetary systems, holy name is the only shelter. This song also has got the similar connotation. The guys who have composed this song, they have used Tukaram Maharaj's Abhang. In that, he says that Nama Kheta Uta Uti, Hoya Samsar Achi Tuti. In this materialistic world, from the samsara sagara, from the cycle of birth and death, nothing else can rescue us, nothing else can save us but for Nama. And the song it's Tukaram Maharaj saying is Nama Cha Bazar Pandari Nama Cha Bazar. So you please come to the marketplace of holy name, which is there in Pandharpur. The same way Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that please come to Nam Hata. Boro Shuker Kaborgai, Boro Shuker Kaborgai. He says Surabi Kunje Ter Namer Hat Kuleche. Please come to the Nam Hata and try to take advantage of them. Otherwise, at the time of death, when your voice gets choked up, when your relatives are going to cry around you, when your ears are going to be having filled with screaming sound, when people are going to be moaning around you, when your consciousness is going to be gloomy, how do you think you will be able to think about Krishna? When our throat is going to be dried up, we will not be able to think about Krishna. We will be thinking about only all those things with whom we were very much attached. So hence, King Kulashekara and various other alvars are singing that now my consciousness is sane. Now everything's are very, very nicely organized in my life. So better let me try to take advantage of the moment now to practice Krishna consciousness rather than procrastinating. So with that note, I just want to offer my obeisances to all the assembled devotees, and definitely seek everyone's blessings, so that the seriousness to practice Krishna consciousness now that everybody know that Krishna consciousness is important, but it's important now is something that we need some more vigor And typically we have this smashana vairagya or markat vairagya, monkey renunciation, or smashana vairagya. We should come out of such a vairagya, such a volatile vairagya. We should definitely get to yukta vairagya, so that we can utilize all the current resources in Krishna's service, and make use of this human form of life for delivering us from the cycle of birth and death. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be part of this wonderful Sangha. As always, Srimad Bhagavatam helps us for a reality check, and every moment we are getting this reality getting checked. So to summarize our conversation, we had 3 sets of reflections. First set of reflection is about principle, process, people, purity, purpose, and with all of them, the right goal that we want to achieve. The second reflection is about how in our spiritual life we need to be very we need to be very much ready. We need to be very much conscious about what is our uh, uh, in our devotional journey, because Srimad Bhagavatam is time and again coming and reminding us that this human form of life is very, very rare, very, very volatile. So we need to make sure that we try to apply the principle of renunciation, and start talking about renunciation. Stop amassing after a point in time, and learn to start reducing our bodily needs and increase our spiritual needs. And this should be physically, intellectually, mentally to be done, not just theoretically. And last but not least, we discussed about how we need to become a soldier, healthy soldier, prepared to help others to stay healthy. And in the process, if we may face challenge, we should not deter, knowing that Krishna personally takes care of his dear servants. So those who are claiming themselves to be a devotees are not by devotees. Those who are claiming themselves to be a devotees to a devotees of a devotee is my devotee. So we be prepared to be part of the Sankirtan mission and win more and more souls to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So this King Puranjana's pastimes, there are many more details as we go further. We will learn, and may we all take these lessons of Srimad Bhagavatam to the heart and make use of this human form of life for the best of its capacity. Hare Krishna. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Is there any questions or comments? We can discuss.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for such a wonderful class, Prabhuji. I request all the devotees, if you have any questions, you can go ahead. Thank you so much.
Anyone has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhuji, while reading Bhagavatam, when we hear from senior devotees, we'll get all the essence, Prabhu, they explain. But when we read ourselves, just will read like a thing, but we don't get that much essence while we are reading, Prabhu. So how to get the taste while reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhuji?
Very important question. Actually, there is a very interesting story from Padma Puran. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmya. In Mahatmya, there's a story of King Gokarna. Not King Gokarna. There's a person, Gokarna. So who heard Srimad Bhagavatam. So there is a scenario where his brother Dundukari, he was very reckless and behaved in a very irresponsible manner, and eventually he got killed by his own girlfriends, prostitutes with whom he enjoyed. So because of him becoming a ghost, so he was moving around, roaming around, and finally came to his brother Gokarna saying that, can you please help me? So Gokarna, because of him being a student of Srimad Bhagavatam, he told Dundukari that you don't worry, I will try to rescue you. Even though you led your life in a very reckless manner, I will read Srimad Bhagavatam for you for the next 7 days. Because ghosts need some physical body to reside, so Gokarna arranged for a bamboo stick with 7 notch. So 7 knot, and the ghost form of Dundukari asked to reside into that bamboo. So every day when Gokarna recited Srimad Bhagavatam, one day, one knot in that bamboo got completely, untied. So after the 7th day of Srimad Bhagavatam recitation got over, to everybody's surprise, Gokarna, Dundukari got completely delivered and, went back home, back to Godhead because of just hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, the story was, it is not just Dundukari who heard Srimad Bhagavatam when Gokarna spoke. The entire village, the entire city or whatever that place, they all heard Srimad Bhagavatam, same Srimad Bhagavatam that Gokarna spoke. But only Dundukari got delivered. So after the Bhagavatam class got over, when Dundukari got delivered, one person in the crowd got up and said, my dear sir, we all heard Srimad Bhagavatam, same amount of time, sitting in the same place, but why only Dundukari got delivered? So that time Gokarna is giving a very interesting point. Because Dundukari was in such a desperate state of despair, he was in such a difficult situation, he realized that if I don't take advantage of the Srimad Bhagavatam now, I will continue to suffer in this world. He has got complete understanding of that. That understanding made him to become an attentive hearer of the Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days. The amount of attentiveness that Dundukari had, an involvement that Dundukari had in hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, none of you have, because in your own personal lives, your scenario, your situation is not as intense as Dundukari. So, if you hear in the same spirit as Dundukari, then you will also be able to get delivered. So everybody said that, oh my God, had we known this, we would have, been more attentive. So they requested Gokarna, would you mind re-reciting Srimad Bhagavatam again for next 7 days? This time we will learn here attentively. So to help all the assembled members, Gokarna once again recited Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days. And this time everybody heard Srimad Bhagavatam attentively and they got delivered. So Bhagavat Mahatmya says that it is definitely hearing from a bona fide source, but in what spirit we hear? As Prabhupada says, the spirit of our devotional service should be such that our house is set in fire, in which means how much urgency, how much desperateness, how much depth of intensity one will show in responding that situation. Similarly, one should participate in Krishna consciousness. The Prabhupada said you should behave in a manner that your house is set on fire. That much urgency one should show. But we do not show that much urgency. We do not show that much amount of intensity and depth. That is why we have this problem. So that is why sometimes these challenging moments in our lives are some sort of a blessings, because at that time we will be able to understand Srimad Bhagavatam much more, deeply. As we always say, when a person is in jolly mood, he likes the tune of a song, but when he is in a distress mood, he understands the lyrics of the song. So similarly, in our own lives, when we are, in a so-called enjoying mood, we read Srimad Bhagavatam as a matter of sentiment. But when we are in real desperate need for participating in an agenda to deliver ourselves, that's when we give utmost attention. So how do we switch from self-centered mode to a self-realized mode? Yes, let's choose to be in the association of devotees on a regular basis. Slowly, we will definitely get to that point where we will be able to enjoy this Krishna consciousness Siddhanta. in the right manner, in the right intensity, in the right focus. So it may apparently appear that today I am not, getting there, but we will definitely get there very soon if we stay put into this process. So the process, we do not need to um, um, do anything in a hurry-burry manner, but then we need to stay focused, stay consistent, not stagnant, and sure the results will be seen in our own lives. Am I making sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Koti Koti Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai. As usual, very nectarian class, Prabhuji. Learn so many things from your class. Yes, Prabhuji, you explain ladders and snakes. It's coming in our life, and especially family member are not supporting, but it's after some times, it's not take 1 or 2, it's maybe take 20-22 years. They also understand us and support us. And by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev, they also start little bhakti. Thank you very much. And you explained that in this time, the death is came anytime. So that we have to surrender Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani so sincerely, and we have to follow the instruction of Srila Prabhupada, and more and more hearing, more and more japa, and whatever we learn from senior, we have to preach the Vaishnava. Prabhuji learned so many things from you. Koti Koti Dandat Pranam. Prabhuji, you always forget to send your Vaishnav song file. Please send with all of
I will
us.
send. We are
Yes,
going through
Prabhu.
some sort of a family, situation. So I will definitely organize and send it across.
Yes, Prabhu. Koti Koti Dandat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. This is Sundari Gopi Dasi. Prabhuji, I had a question. In this it was about Puranjana keeping things for his children, and who will be plundering. So 2 days back I heard a class. Sorry. Shanta, ikde. Sorry, bro.
No problem, no problem.
Prabhuji, 2 days back I heard a class where it was like, we have to keep. So we have to distribute like what the golden rule is given by the Goswamis, like 50% you have to donate, and 25% for yourself, 25 for your children. But the giving part to somebody other than our own close relatives is so difficult. I mean, I now after you gave that class, and from the previous class, I was like, ISKCON is my family. I feel that I'm taking from ISKCON, but when it is time to give, I don't think it is like I feel the same way like my family members. Could you talk something so that which would I want to start thinking about it, that yes, ISKCON is my family because I have benefited immensely, and I should be giving. So
Very
could you talk something about it?
sure. Very thoughtful question. Actually, I spoke about this in couple of sessions earlier on this on Bhagavatam talks about um, how money should be spent by a grahastha, because in many places, in many different contexts, different points are mentioned. So once His Holiness Hanumat Prashik Maharaj mentioned in one of the Graha Pravesha ceremony in Houston that I attended last year. So he quoted Srila Prabhupada. He said, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that if anyone who does not worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his house, proportionate to the amount of wealth that he has acquired in a very nice manner. Suppose like somebody is financially stable, but does not worship Krishna properly. Prabhupada says that he will surely fall down. Then we were discussing about how one can ascertain that I'm doing my best for Krishna. So Maharaj was explaining that it is up to one's individual's honesty that am I genuinely worshipping Krishna in the best capacity, that each and every one of us will have to ascertain. So my first response is that if we start to acknowledge honestly that all the support for my being a devotee is coming actually from this parampara, and they are all my eternal associates, whilst my bodily associations are important and they are not somebody whom I'm supposed to disrespect or ignore, but at the same time not thinking about the extended and larger family with whose help my eternal identity is revealed. So we need to be grateful to them. Having said that, Bhagavatam talks about 5 ways by which money needs to be consumed. First is to work. Money should be spent for worshipping Krishna at one's home. Number 2, inviting Vaishnavas and spiritual master and feed them. Number 3 is to feed cows and brahmanas. Number 4 is to support the needy and poor, both in terms of animal as well as people. Fifth, in terms of providing resources for our near and extended family and also for future needs. If somebody divides his wealth in these 5 parts, then he will not get entangled in this material world. Otherwise, he'll get entangled. So, in this very first thing is about worshipping Krishna. So, in our personal lives, if you see when you buy a house, where have we identified place for Krishna? Typically speaking, in Indian setup or wherever real estate rates are pretty high, people will have a heartburn to dedicate a separate room for Krishna, for an altar room or a main place for Krishna. Why to utilize all this place when I can worship Krishna in some corner space in kitchen, where anyway Krishna, I just offer and do some agarbatti. Anyway, Krishna can be there. If you go typically people's house, they don't have a concept of a temple room or altar room or a place where Krishna is worshipped in the primary capacity. So Srila Prabhupada very strongly encourages us to make sure that all the resources that we have actually belong to Krishna, and we are just caretakers. We can neither claim nor renounce. So we should function as a caretaker. If you function as a caretaker, then only we will be able to get rid of the entanglement. So what you said in terms of considering our devotees and extended family as our real well-wishers is something that I guess somewhere or other we need to inculcate. We will be able to inculcate when we understand the amount of help that we received from them for being whoever we are at this point in time. If I remove the amount of devotees that helped me in my life, I know I am a classified rascal. So the point is that even now I am, but the point is what is helping in shielding or getting slowly rid of this rascaldom is the devotee's support or the unke chhaya, chatra chhaya mein reh ke bolte hain. So we are under their shelter and care. We will be able to, somewhere or other get rid of our bad habits. So financial resources to be distributed, this 5 ways, if somebody distributes them, if they are trying to allocate their resources in this manner, they will not get bound. And last but not least, Srila Prabhupada has demonstrated in his own personal life that how he had handed over the family responsibility to his children, and and said that my extended family, my real family, is my disciples, and they are the ones who are actually my spiritual master also. They are the ones who are my children also, and they are the ones who are like my support for me to go back home, back to Godhead. and that's absolutely true. We have seen in Srila Prabhupada's life, and that's the case for all of us also. So somehow or other, if we can extend ourselves, help each other, and support in that capacity, we will be able to be grateful. And I guess gratitude is a very deep agenda, but I guess without that we will not be able to make an inch forward in our Krishna consciousness. Making some sense here?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much. Yeah, and thank you for the wonderful class also. I mean, I was thinking
Hare
about
Krishna.
verse, but you made a justice to it from your experiences. Thank you very, very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, August Srila Prabhupada. Very, very beautiful class, Prabhuji. Very nicely you explained about how people are like want to give money to their children and they don't make any spiritual progress. The rich people, they have only money, and like the example of the girl who was saying that her father died on only lack of air, which is free, and lot of money doesn't work that time. So thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna ma.
Yeah.
I guess every family, I'm sure, both in India, overseas, every family will have some stories on this capacity, where how people have been, greedy over the money, and they were looking only your pockets and bank balances, and respect you proportionally. Somebody was asking me, or in my friends group, they sent me a message that when we have the friends reunion, everybody is interested in knowing, what I am in my life, not because they value me, because they wanted to know how much they are supposed to respect me. So today our relationships in this world is directly proportionate to the financial numbers, not with respect to quality. So even unfortunately the education system is also centered towards that. So we are all directed towards every success is mapped towards financial numbers. That's very unfortunate, very unfortunate. Somehow Prabhupada's mercy that we are able to think and
Yeah.
talk beyond money.
Yes, Prabhuji. Surprisingly, my father is also, whenever I ask him to donate money to the temple, he just reduces the amount. Whatever I say, oh no, not that much, like that he says. But giving to his sons, he won't hesitate that time. He said, "What?" I asked him, "What will you do with all this money?" He said, "I will give to my children." I say, better you give it to the temple, it will come back to you. If you give it to the children, it will go in vain. So, but still, he doesn't understand that logic. He said, this is my money, like that. Very difficult, Prabhu.
My father, I'm telling you, last 1 week, very interesting experiences. My father has been diagnosed with a neurological disorder called myasthenia gravis. When he get this disorder, he has to be on steroids, and he can't eat and speak properly, and his memory is slowly deteriorating. So I was just wondering that now his memory is deteriorating. Of course, he had been a very noble man, so great, so all those things are fine. But what if he had not been a devotee? What he would do with all the things that he had got? His memory is gone, everything is gone. Now he is barely dependent on some of us. So I was just wondering that the bottom line is, at some point in time, your whole life is crippled. Then what is only going to help is our holy name and our Krishna consciousness. So let us not wait for us to be crippled to realize. Let us realize so that we don't get crippled. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no further questions, we can end the session here, and looking forward for more Sangha in the future.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. If nobody have any questions, we can end the call here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's pay our obeisances to all the Vaishnavas and Prabhuji's Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha.
कल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ग्रंथद श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, हिज ग्रेस रामगिरी प्रभु जी की जय।